Okay. Ja, es läuft. So welcome everyone to this presentation of the Caweb Masters and also the TC-Log Masters. My name is Renate de la Paix. I'm the program director of our master's program, the Caweb Masters program. You see a couple of colleagues on the screen and also one of our students, Cynthia. She will have the opportunity to introduce herself in a couple of minutes. What's on the agenda today? I will share actually my screen here and here. Okay, share. Now you should be able to see the screen, and I can probably push this here so that you can see also the screen. Okay, so we will start with the agenda. Who are the presenters? Mainly Cynthia and myself. What's the Caweb Master's degree? Who can join it? I have put in bold that students and young professionals without any knowledge of French can join it. So English is compulsory, and but it's sufficient, so you don't need any French to do our master's degree online if you want to join the second year directly, of course, or well, not of course, but we also have an on-campus group, and there you takes place in Strasbourg, and then you have to be fluent in French. So we have really two opportunities, and we will present the two opportunities to you in a couple of minutes. We will also present some facts and figures about the masters, the job opportunities afterwards, and then going into details, what it means studying Caweb in Strasbourg, and what it means studying Caweb part-time in English and remotely. And this is what my dear colleague, Professor Rapp, mentioned earlier tonight. It's a unique opportunity, actually, to combine a professional career with a master's program. You don't have to choose. You can do it both at the same time. Takes a little bit more, probably more time, but it's an opportunity to get the full master's degree in English remotely and working at the same time. A few words about the application process and the requirements. Of course, you can ask all the questions you might have. And if we have time, and especially if you're interested, we would like to introduce you to a second master's we have at our university, which is perhaps even more in the field of translation and technical communication. The name is TC-Log Masters, Technical Communication and Localization, also delivered in English, also remotely. And yeah, it's more about localization and technical writing. All our masters actually combine at least two things in the Caweb program. It is languages and web communication, web design, and yeah, digital marketing. So a strong focus on web, also on web technologies. And the TC-Log Masters actually is a master's in combining technical writing, the TECOM certification. You might have heard about it. This is where we usually meet. It's combining the technical, the technical writing part, technical communication part from TECOM with localization. So it's, I think a really good opportunity for people in languages and translation mainly. So let's start. Okay, Cynthia, would you like to introduce you briefly?
Yes, so hello again. My name is Cynthia. I'm a second-year student of the Master Caweb, and I'm gonna present a few slides of this presentation with Lem de la Paix.
Great, thank you very much. So my name is Renate de la Paix from Munich originally. I'm the program director of these two programs. From the beginning, actually, they are my babies. We started in 2002, actually, with these programs. Yeah, so a long time. What is the Caweb master's degree? Caweb stands for multilingual web communication. I will perhaps cut the video, sorry, because this is not necessary. Sound, I think, is fine. Caweb stands for multilingual web communication. It's a very versatile and professional master's degree, so career focused, that trains for jobs in digital and in languages. Languages applied to web communication and localization. In the field of digital media, such as websites, video games. So the courses are courses in web development, in web project management, and in digital marketing. By digital marketing, we mean managing social networks, optimize a website for SEO, for search engine optimization, also optimize your translation in this field. And then there is a visual communication part, so courses in web design, in DTP, desktop publishing, in video, and in user experience. So very, very broad and very career focused. Yeah, always difficulties to change the slide, but now it works. So the master's was created in 2002. At that time, it was a postgraduate course. It was before the Bologna process, before this bachelor and master organization. So more than 20 years now that we do this degree. More recently, we do it remotely as well. You can choose between French or English track. You can study the second year full-time or part-time, and you can do it within an apprenticeship contract or in continuous learning. So Cynthia, for example, she does the master's as an apprentice, so she is earning some money. She is working and studying at the same time. In German, the expression would be duale Hochschule. So, like at least in Baden-Württemberg, this is very, very common. So you have a working contract with a company. It's a working contract of about 70% of the annual working time. So you are studying 30% of the annual working time and 70% you are in the company. Actually, it's during the semester, it's half time. Half time you're working, half time you are studying. That's an opportunity for students who are fluent in French. They can come to France and do this apprenticeship contract. So, but we will talk about this a little bit later. We have currently 35 students in the first year, 20 students on site in the second year, and we have 35, actually 40 students in the second year in the English track and the remote track. So actually we have more students in the second year than in the first year, because we offer this master's also online. And we started in 2010 to offer 2008 actually already to offer it online. I think this is my last slide before Cynthia starts. Career opportunities after the Caweb program was a very, very broad actually as well. So people work in project management, in web development, in communication, in digital marketing, in translation, in content writing, in technical writing, in SEO. Yeah, it's very broad. we think that you should know, in any of these fields, actually, you should know a lot about all the tasks around your proper task. So when it comes to let's say, well, project management, I think, is the best example. A project manager should really know about all the stages of the project, what it really means, and how the graphic design team works, how the development team works. And it's very, very useful to know how translation works and what are the tools you need for translation and so on. Yeah, but we think a broad knowledge when working in languages is really important. I think now I hand it over to Cynthia, who will tell you a bit more about who can join the masters and how the first and second year works.
Actually, that wasn't my slide, but that's not a problem. Actually, you can join the first year if you speak French and if you are on campus. In this case, you do the master's in 2 years, and you have to have an apprenticeship contract for the second year. In this case, you are a full-time student, and yeah, you have the, let's say, the classic version of the master's. Then you have the option to only enter the master in the second year, which you can do on campus if you already have a working experience, or you can do it remotely only in English, where you don't need French. So now I'm gonna tell you that as a Caweb student, you have a very diverse profile, because we do not only have digital skills, we also have language skills. So we have 2 languages. We have English. This is for everyone. And then we have to choose between a second language. For most of us, it is German, but you also can choose other languages. But it's important to mention, if you are a foreign student, which would be in your case, your language will be French as a foreign language automatically. Then, actually, I wasn't finished with the last slide, I'm sorry. Graduates who speak German and have digital skills are atypical profiles, and therefore are really sought after by recruiters. So we are one of the few masters in France that combine languages and web skills, which means that we are quite rare. So as the Master Caweb is located near Germany, German-speaking profiles are high demanded, and we can find our apprenticeship in Strasbourg, but also near of the border, so also in Germany. But we don't necessarily need it, as we have partnerships with companies such as Schmidt and Zooplus and other German companies already. Yeah, and it's also a great opportunity for foreign students to improve their French skills and to improve their other skills such as localization, community management, and all other skills that you need in this category, which means web development, graphic design, digital marketing, which we already said. Now I need the next slide.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Now these are the courses for the second year, I guess. The students will be involved in all subjects, which means that we have a lot of different backgrounds and knowledge for all the jobs we can have. Actually, we have kind of 4 categories. We have the languages, which we already said, with translation, oral speaking, localization, writing, etc. Then we have everything that is linked to web development, so the different programming languages such as HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, and also other things linked to development, so content management and also law, because it's important to know what you can deal with or not on the web. Then we have more the visual communication with UX design, usability classes, desktop publishing, video creation classes, and so on. And we have digital marketing, where we learn how to create digital strategies, how to deal with tools. We learn how to communicate on different social media platforms, and we also do multilingual SEO.
Actually, yeah. It was an overview of the program, not only for the second year, but also for the first year, actually. And now we are going a bit more into details during the first year, which is the career, or which is the path that Cynthia followed. So she did the first year and is now doing the second. And perhaps, Cynthia, you can tell us a few words about the career orientation or the career focus during the first year.
Yes, I hope you can't hear the dogs in the background because they're making a lot of noise. Yeah, so in the first year, we have several opportunities to have a professional experience, which means that we have an actual product to manage, where we have to find an association or a company, whatever, that needs a website, and therefore we have to manage this whole project by a group of 4 or 5 people. And this is a great opportunity to use the skills we already learned in the first year in a concrete project. And it was really enriching for, I guess, every one of us, because it is complicated to only learn the theory part and not the actual part of the project. And that's why it's really important to mention that we have this opportunity to gain experience and also have the concrete version of a project. Also for the second year on site, which is my case, as we already said, it's a work and study program, which means that we work half time of the week and the other half we are on campus. So the rhythm is 2.5 days in the company, 2 days at the university, and half a day on distance learning. We have classes such as content technologies, we have program management, digital marketing, what we already said. And the advantages are that we are paid professionals, so we have the experience, we avoid paying the registration fees, and at the same time we have the opportunity to practice what we learn in class directly in a professional context. And we have a dedicated room at the university for us with computers where we can practice everything we need without having to wait or something else. And this is really great because, yeah, it's a good help.
So you did the on-campus program. Would you like to say a few words about the distance learning program as well?
I can, but I think you may have to correct me sometimes.
If I talk about this part of the program. So it's students can choose between a work and study program or the continuous learning program. So Cynthia was happy to find apprenticeship contract in the region of Strasbourg, or very close to Strasbourg, but students can also sign an apprenticeship contract all over France, or even in Germany, only the border regions. And then the rhythm is a little bit different. They work on Monday, Tuesdays all day in the company, and on Thursday and Friday morning they work in the company, and in the evening they study online. The courses are held for 1/3 synchronously and for 2/3 asynchronously. So on a learning platform, we are working with Moodle, and all the courses are provided on this Moodle platform. And we have live sessions in the evening, and we have asynchronous learning on the Moodle platform. What Cynthia presented in the other slides about the program is exactly the same, actually, but it's all in English. So the on-campus program is mainly in French, not exclusively. There are also some courses in English, but mainly it's in French. This distance learning program gives you more flexibility, and if you have an apprentice contract in France, there are no fees and you are earning money. So that's actually apprenticeship contracts are paid between, let's say, 900 and 1,500 euros a month, which is for France pretty much. And I think even for Germany, a lot of internships are paid less than that. And it's a real work experience during 1 year. So who can join the masters? We first mentioned the students and professionals with good knowledge of French. They can join the on-campus program. It's mainly a 2-year program, and the 2nd year is with an apprenticeship contract, and it's full time. But, and this, I think this is the important point for students not being fluent in French, and students who would like to keep their employment in Germany, let's say, or anywhere else in the world. They want to keep their employment, and they would like to study at the same time. So they can study remotely, either full-time if they want, or part-time if they are working for professionals and you don't need any knowledge of French. You need to have a very good command of English, but that is all you need. Again, the courses are held synchronously in the evening. They are always recorded, and 2/3 of the program or of the courses are provided asynchronously. And the same program for these students, but they have to pay for this masters. And I think there is a slide talking about fees. That's the next slide. The pricing depends actually on your choice. If you want to do it full time in 1 year, or if you want rather spend 2 years to complete the 2nd year, then it splits of these 7,540 euros over 2 years. Might be the better choice for students working full time. If you have at least 20 hours, 15-20 hours a week, then I think you can manage to do the program in 1 year. But if you have less than that, it's better to spread it over 2 years. The benefits of the program are that you can work you can study from anywhere, not only from Germany, but anywhere in the world. I don't know how many nationalities we have in our group, but many. In the TC-Log program, we have people from 20 countries, perhaps in Caweb, perhaps 12 or 13 countries, where the people come from and study from. Yeah, perhaps Cynthia again with some strong points, benefits of our master's degree to wrap it up.
Yes. Yeah, the master actually has many benefits. Because first of all, we are actors of a training, which means that we have the possibility to improve a lot of things in this masters. The first thing is that we have the possibility to manage the Caweb and TC Log websites. That means that we animate the social media networks, we write blog articles, and we do the whole management of both websites during the second year and also during the summer, depending on which year you are in. Then we are a I don't have the word, but we are an official master, which means that we are accredited by the ministry. And this means that we get 60 European credits per year. That means also that we have to prove that we are doing a certain number of working hours. So in theory, it's 25 working hours per ECTS. We participate in different group projects and gain experience. That is what I mentioned earlier, in which is really rich for us. We also have the opportunity to showcase our skills by creating a personal website in the second year. We acquire new skills through work experience. All our projects and achievements can be highlighted on a resume. Therefore, the master is a rich and diversified training, and that's why we have a lot of things to say, and we also have the possibility to share our ideas and recommendations to improve the master for the following year. We have multiple professional opportunities, as we mentioned before. The mastering of web technologies is very important in our current market situation. And even if we are not necessarily developers, we have the skills and the knowledge, which is very enriching for the professional context. Former Caweb students that have digital professionals or that are professional, or now lecturers in our masters, which means that they bring their own knowledge for us, which is also very enriching. And we have our own association called Caweb that the students themselves created. And each year the students can join and participate every year to help this association grow and make the student life more fun for everybody.
Thank you so much for sharing, Cynthia. You were very engaged in this association. There are a lot of opportunities in Caweb to engage and to commit to something and to be active. That's why we call it in French, être acteur de sa formation is really, it's always hands-on, and it's career focused and not theory based. If you now want to apply, so if you want to apply for the on-campus program, you have to go through the official national website, actually called Mon Master. It's like in former times, in my times, it was the Zentrale Vergabestelle für Studienplätze. It's a bit like that. It's a huge platform with thousands and thousands of opportunities, and you can apply for different master's programs. This would be next year in March or April. It's once a year. Then you will get an interview, and if you don't have a degree in French and English, there will be a test. It's quite selective. We have a lot of applications. This slide actually is from last year. We had 170 applications. This year we have 205 applications for 35 positions. If you want to apply for the distance learning program, so if you want to enter the second year directly, this is actually the idea for the German students who are perhaps not all fluent in English and who after their studies in any bachelor program actually in Germany, 3-year or 3.5-year bachelor program, ideally you finish with an internship, traineeship, and then you get hired in the company. And perhaps it's a good idea to get some professional experience before doing a master's program. So ideally, after your bachelor's, you find a position, you have a position in a company, you get some experience, but you think, well, a master's would be nice to have. I'm lacking some skills, but at the same time, I have a good position. I'm earning quite good money. So that's a very tough decision to make, and that's why actually we and my colleagues, Professor Rapp, I think he agrees on that. It's a great opportunity actually to start a professional career and go back to university a bit later. Then of course you have to pay, you have to dedicate some free time, some personal time to it, but you can get a master's degree in English in your field, and really different from other master's programs. You're already fluent in 2 or 3 or more languages, and you have experience in translation or in related fields. So you don't need a language or theory anymore. What you need is, what we think you need is additional skills, and mainly technical skills. Our master's is very technical, very broad, and very technical, and this makes the difference on the job market. We are really convinced that this is the case. So if you want to apply for the distance learning program directly, you can apply through our website. This is the link. You can find us on social media. Social media is run by the students. The students will answer your questions. The students are updating the website on a regular basis. So it's all done by the students. You will also have a motivation interview, and there will be language tests if you don't master English, or if you don't have a degree in English. Sorry. Also very selective, a bit the same. A lot of applicants for 35 or up to 40 positions actually. Okay, so this is the presentation of the Caweb program. Before we move on to the TC-Log Masters, are there any questions from the 2 students joining us, or from my colleagues?
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes, of course, Catherine.
It's Catherine. Yes, I applied yesterday. I thought it was the limit date. I wasn't sure about it. So, do you mean it's still possible to apply for the Master 2, or is it too late?
It is not too late. Sorry, we did not mention that. Actually, we accept applications. We start the admission period in April, but we finish the admission when we are fully booked. So even in July or August, we still accept positions. We still accept applications, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And when we already submitted our application, when we'll receive like a mail for an interview or something? Will we receive the...
For which did you apply for the apprenticeship track or for the continuous learning track?
I applied for the apprenticeship, I think.
Yes, then actually it's up to you to find an apprenticeship. You
Okay.
can't join the second year of the master's program if you don't have an apprenticeship contract, and if you don't want to pay. There are always these two possibilities. It's either you join it in continuous learning, or you join the program with an apprenticeship contract.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any more questions or comments? Florence, what's your situation?
Yes, in the case of remote learning, is it sometimes necessary to go to Strasbourg?
For the apprenticeship students, yes, there is one mandatory meeting in Strasbourg. For the continuous learning students, it's not mandatory, but yeah, we would highly appreciate if you show up at least once. There is one on-campus meeting generally in October for team building mainly.
Okay, well, in October and another time later at the end of the year.
It was like this in former times, but we stopped this during Corona, and we will have only one on-campus meeting. We have more and more students from all over the world, and yeah, we only organize one on-campus meeting.
And what about the examination?
Good question. Everything is online, so there are no on-campus exams anymore. Also stopping during COVID, and finally it works quite well. Yeah, online.
Okay.
It's a lot of projects you have to hand in, and some oral examinations. So it works pretty well finally.
And what's the difference between Caweb and TC-Loc?
Okay, yeah. Well, if there are no more questions, perhaps we should switch to TC-Loc.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, Mr. We can hear you very low, but I can hear you. Perhaps speak up a bit.
So I saw that you have to pay minimum price is 5,800.
Yes.
Oh, and there is a possibility to pay in several times.
Yes, there is the possibility to pay in several installments. Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the test that we have to pass in order to prove in our English level, is it in Strasbourg, or can we have it? Can we pass?
No, it's online like this with one of our instructors in English.
Okay.
For English, yeah.
I am a student in how to say, applied foreign languages in Nanterre University, and I would like to know if I have a bachelor degree from this university, it counts as a degree in English.
The easiest thing is actually to apply to send us your CV and your documents, and then we will tell you if we have doubts about your English. You should feel confident actually in English, but yeah.
Oh, that was all. I have no other question.
Okay, so would you like to switch over to Caweb? I will share my screen again. And
I would have a little question still.
Yes, of course.
And this is, you know, about the apprenticeships and so on. Okay, some people will have a full job, so they can keep it, but have to ask their employer to get a reduction in working hours. Is this correct?
Not necessarily. Let's say a German student has a full-time job and would like to do the master's degree. either he or she reduces working hours and tries to do it in 1 year, and then it's cheaper, let's put it like this, or the person would like to continue to work full-time, and then it should be part-time, so it should be 2 years of studying. And it's still, I mean, it's a full master's degree. I would not say that it is very difficult, but it is very time-consuming because there is a lot of content. It is very content-based, very broad. Yeah, a lot of different things to know and to do, and a lot of projects ongoing, and this and that. We keep them busy. I think in the good, but with interesting things. I mean, I speak under the control of Cynthia. If it is interesting, but I really think that it's relevant. It's relevant for working in the industry.
What about, you know, in a translation business, there are a lot of self-employed people or freelancers. Would this be compatible with your model, or does it need to be
No, it's absolutely an option. A lot of freelance translators actually choose the other program, the TC-LOC program, the Technical Communication and Localization program.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, very interesting.
You're welcome. I will share my screen and we can switch over to the other masters. And yeah. Okay, like this should work. I think you can see my screen. So the master's is called Technical Communication and Localization. It's offered by the same faculty, by the same university, and has basically the same staff, or at least the same director and the same program coordinator. Same agenda. What's the TC-LOC master's degree? Who can join? What makes the program special, unique, I would say. General course structure, admission requirements and fees for continuous learning students, how to apply, and of course, you can ask all the questions you might have. Same structure. I kept the same slide, actually. A versatile and professional master's degree taught in English and fully online. Now we have the first difference. It is leading to both a university degree, a full master's degree, and the certification awarded by TECOM. Professor Rob knows about the TECOM certificate, Technischer Redakteur oder Technical Communicator, professional level. So TECOM offers two certification programs. The English one is integrated or is mandatory part of our program. And it's unique in the sense of combining, or our master's is unique in the sense of combining the domains of technical communication and localization. So again, same idea, combining languages or translation or localization with another topic. Here it is technical communication. It's ideal for professionals and non-professionals or students who are interested in adding new skills, web technologies, software and API documentation and localization, natural language processing. Now, of course, we add modules about large language models for localizers. We have modules in visual communication. We do some search engine optimization, always focused on localization, and a lot more. So yeah, we can go into details if there is interest in you on your side. It's a continuous learning program. So the difference to Caweb is with Caweb is that in Caweb we have a lot of young students like Cynthia, who did a bachelor's and perhaps did a gap year or something like this. But basically, Caweb is addressing a lot of young students. After a bachelor's degree, they do 2 years at university. The TC-Log program is addressing professionals, mainly professionals. It's a continuous learning program, and the students are mainly working in the fields of languages already. In translation, I would say 2/3 of our students have a translation background, and they want to broaden their skills and perhaps do something different. I mean, you know that translation is changing a lot. The profession of a translator is changing a lot, and you have to keep up with recent developments, mainly technological developments, or broaden your skills and offer different services for freelancers, for example. Go into SEO translation, or into graphic design, or going into web design or web programming, or into software localization. So there are, I don't think that there are any schools in Germany or any universities in Germany training specifically people in localization, in software localization. Perhaps in Köthen, Universität Hochschule Anhalt, Professor Sebald Heeg, they have a very good localization program, but addressing mainly people studying computer linguistic or informatic, and not languages. We have also some engineers, and we have some journalists, and we have sometimes some English teachers as well. It is full remote and in English, part-time or full-time, again, suitable for working professionals, and you have to be fluent in English. What makes this program special or unique? This is the partnership with TECOM. So TECOM, for those who don't know, TECOM is Europe's largest association for technical communication. There is a teaching unit called Technical Communication, which is entirely run by TECOM, and it leads to the certification technical communicator, especially for people living in Germany. It's nice. It's nice to have. It's something very well known in Germany. This is an overview of the TECOM competence framework. It's a European framework on what competences actually people working in technical communication should have. As you can see, it's again, like the Caweb program, very broad, about media production, about content analysis, concept development, and you see all declinations of the different fields. So very comprehensive, very broad again. So this is the technical communication part. And then you have the localization part, and there we have professionals and academics from all over the world, literally from all over the world, like Alexandros Tsikakis from XTM. He is German-Greek, living in Greece. Professor Kirk Centerman from Louisiana Tech. He is a specialist or an expert in usability and design. We have Jordan Stanchev from SAP, living in Bulgaria. Chris Raoul from SEO Boulder in the United States. Alex Janishevsky from SmartLink. He's one of the, I would say, most well-known or best professionals in natural language processing. So we really try to get top-notch professionals or academics for this course, and that's easy in the sense of it's all remote, it's all in English, so we can really hire very, very interesting people. The general course structure is for 115 hours of lessons or learning. it's like the same in the Caweb program. That's quite mandatory actually for master programs, at least when they are combined with apprenticeship contracts. They are fully online and mainly asynchronous or asynchronous. Let's say we have about 60 live sessions per year. That's not a lot. So it's 1 or 2 per week, but there is no content delivered during the live sessions. It's only to me to answer open questions, to give feedback, and so on. So the lessons or the program itself, it's all asynchronous, which is not the case in the Caweb program. In the Caweb program, 1/3 of the lessons are synchronous lessons in the evening, which is pretty much. And we have 2 on-campus meetings in April and November. They are not mandatory at all. And out of 35, 40 students, let's say 15 or 18 students come to the on-campus meetings. I would say it's more on-campus seminars. So it's additional content that is provided during the on-campus meetings. And we also organize a symposium once a year on usability and design, where people can join. Was a huge success this year with, I think 60 participants. Bit of an overview. So again, we keep you busy. A lot of teaching units spreading all over the year. Let's say always 3 teaching units ongoing at the same time. So let's say 5 hours studying every week and for every teaching unit. So that sums up quite quickly. And if we have a look on the first teaching units, it's either introduction to localization or something more technical. We are talking about regular expressions. Then there's a teaching unit about SEO and a teaching unit about web technologies. So that's quite a lot from the start. I can go into details if you want, but I don't want to take too much of your time in the evening. The admission requirements, the same for the second year of the Caweb Masters. It's an equivalent to 4 years of higher education, so 240 ECTS. So students in Germany or bachelor students, they have less. They have less, but they can compensate with professional experience. So if you have a bachelor's and then at least 1 or 2 years of work experience, then you can ask for VAPP. VAPP means validation of acquired professional and personal experience. In France, actually, we consider that professional experience can be equivalent to academic experience. So it has to be in the field, so not any professional experience, but it is the German word is einschlägig. If it's really in the field, and if it's significant, then you can enter the second year directly, which is really a good thing. I think the only place where you can do that is Austria, but in Austria, a lot of master programs are not accredited. So if you want to change country, then it's not a full master's degree. Our students can do a PhD if they want to. It's not the aim of the program, but at least it's really a full master's degree. You have to pay for this master's. So if you decided to do it in 12 or 17 months, so 12 months is really if you are doing it full time. Most of the students do it in 17 or 24 months. Then you have to pay 4,580 euros plus 1,700 euros for TECOM for the certification, which is more than 1,000 euros less than they usually they ask for the certification. So the combining the both is actually quite a good deal. If you want to spend rather 24 months, then it's more expensive, but again, you can pay in installments and you can spread it over 2 years. And if you pay it in installments, I think it's about 6 installments. Yeah, so this is about the fees. Applications on a rolling basis. So in Caweb, we start mainly recruiting in April, but in TCLOC, it's ongoing. Why? It's because actually you can start with the TECOM certification more or less anytime. They have 5 or 6 course starts a year, and you can join any of them. So that's why we accept applications anytime. And once you are admitted, to get this special prize actually from TECOM, you have to be admitted to the TCLOC Masters and enroll. But then you can start more or less immediately with the technical communication part. If you don't have a degree in English, there will be a language test and an interview, of course. The floor is yours. Do you have any questions on this program?
Yes, in TCLOC, do you also learn to web development?
Yes, so in TCLOC, we have about 50 hours of web development, which is not a lot. It's just an introduction to web technologies, basically done by the same teachers as for the Caweb program, but it's only 15 hours, and the Caweb students do a lot more than 50 hours of web development. But it's quite, yeah, it's a good introduction to understand how websites are built nowadays. Yeah, makes you feel better when you work in the localization industry, and if you translate websites, if you know how things are built, and yeah, and afterwards you will be able to build your own yeah, basic website, of course.
The Caweb Master is more technical. It requires more technical knowledge than TCLOC.
Yes, it's more technical. More web technologies are required. Absolutely, more. The TCLOC program, you should not underestimate the TCLOC program, because there is a module called Advanced Localization, and this is localizing a piece of software or a piece of mobile app with tools, and needs some technical understanding. So it's not programming. It's not, it's not developing software, but it needs some technical understanding. That's the main point of our masters, that it's really technical. We think that this is what you need nowadays when you come from a language background.
Actually, that's what I wanted to add. Maybe it's to say that in our digital world, it's very important to have digital skills, which means that you don't necessarily have to be perfect in every subject that is taught, but you have the understanding of everything that you need in an actual project in a company, actually. So it's really enriching, and it makes it so much easier for you at work when you have the complete understanding of the different fields, actually. So yeah, as I said before, I'm not a developer, but I mean, the knowledge that I gain from Caweb makes it so much easier for me to work. And I know that my chef is really glad when I can help her with difficult things for her, but basic things for us. So really, you gain so much knowledge of so many different things, and it's really enriching. in your professional area.
Thank you very much, Cynthia, for sharing. Yeah, this is my point. Perhaps Professor Rapp, you can add your point of view. What is really important nowadays when people have a language background or translation background? What would you recommend? Do you see a shift in the field of translation?
Yeah, yes, of course, I see a shift. Like programs like Google Translate and DeepL, they have a big impact, I think. So, you know, often it's really much faster to do pre-translation with the software and then post-editing that the humans do just post-editing. And I think it's very important to stay, sorry, abreast of the developments in AI and technology. I think that's very, very important.
Absolutely, this is what we think. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And your program, it really sounds very, very interesting to me. And also that you offer the TECOM course, you know, in addition, that's really superb, you know, and that it's a full master. But I think probably it's not easy. So, for example, if one starts in the second year, you know, isn't it a bit risky as well? You know, if some previous knowledge might be lacking, that it's just too hard, perhaps, or is perhaps a higher dropout rate of the people who start in the second year, you know.
There is the dropout is not very high. It's higher in TC-Log because of the student's profile, because they have the average age in TC-Log is 35, and they have family, and they have a full-time job, and they have, you know, personal life, and which makes it difficult to dedicate a lot of time to studying. The Caweb students, even in the continuous learning program, they tend to be younger, and there is not a lot of dropout. But you are right; it's not easy. It's a strong commitment, and you have to really like technology. I think that's important.
By the way, in previous years, you know, almost every year, some of our students went to Köthen, you know, to do the masters in software localization. You mentioned Professor Sewald Heek there. And you know, we didn't have such a focus on Strasbourg because it was not within Germany. And okay, some students want to stay local here, you know, because Köthen is not far from here. But it's really very, very interesting what you have to offer. And, you know, I will be very happy if you give us access to the video, because I will show it in a lecture. And so there is no escape for the students. You sometimes, I really, you know, I'm ashamed, you know, that
that's no problem.
I try to convince them that your masters has a few unique features, and that price, you know, that certain variants have. I mean, you know, the how do you call it? Sorry, you know, the variant where you study in Strasbourg, I think it's also free of charge. And by the way, I mentioned to our students, but they are not aware of it. We have also these courses, you know, that you do in parallel to work, and they are also, you know, about on there's a fee for them as well. You know, very similar.
Ja, natürlich. Berufliche Weiterbildung kostet auch. Ja, natürlich.
Ja, the continuing education courses. So yeah, but somehow
The good ones cost a lot of money, and a good master's degree, fully accredited, not from a private university, is also, yeah, it's an investment in time and money, of course. And we only want motivated students. It's not a program that's suitable for everyone. But if you have one student a year who would like to do it, that's fine with us. Yeah. We are fully booked every year, but I think it's a pity that not more German students join the program. Yeah. We have more students from the United States than from Germany, I would say. And they are welcome. I mean, especially on the on-campus program. They need to be fluent in French, but German is really very, very useful. There are a lot of job opportunities for German native speakers. So no problem at all. I would perhaps stop recording, because otherwise it's a bit too long as well. So thank you for joining. Thank you for joining Florence and Paul. We would be happy to welcome you as our students next year. And thank you, Professor Rapp, for organizing this, or for inviting your students to this presentation, and we will give you access to the recordings. No problem.